Welcome back, Sentinels. Welcome back. Another episode of Black Father Sentinel, where we are changing the narrative of how fathers are depicted as well as discussed in today's society. Now, I know it's been a minute since I dropped a video on you all. However, I think this topic right here is befitting for the weekend that's about to take place. So we got the holiday weekend coming up, right? Monday is Independence Day, July 4th, a time in which we spend time with our family, we fellowship, we gather, and we love on each other, okay? Now, that being said, I want to preface this video by saying this. Fathers, if the shoe fits, wear it and build from it. If the shoe doesn't fit, then just simply disregard, all right? So with that being said, we're going to title this video, Gifts versus Time. Gifts versus time, all right? So I hear a lot of fathers say things like this, right? I just bought him those new Yeezys that just came out. I spent X amount of dollars. He or she should be fine. I just bought that PlayStation 5 that just came out. Cost me X amount of dollars. He or she should be fine. I just bought those new Jordans or polo outfit. He or she just should be fine, right? So we're beginning to talk about how much money that we're spending on our child, right? In terms of the gifts that we buy them, the PlayStations, the outfits, the shoes, right? I want to stop you right there and simply say this. It doesn't matter at all. The kids don't care about the gifts at all. When we buy gifts, I think it's more so for our ego, it's stroking our ego, right? We get to say that we spent X amount of dollars on our child, right? I spent all this money, I'm having it, look at me, right? You see him with the latest J's on, you see her with the latest polo outfit on, you see her with the latest whatever the latest name brand that people are talking about or trending at the time, right? It's more for our ego, but children don't care about that stuff at all. I tell you exactly what happens, and correct me if I'm wrong. As soon as you buy those shoes or you buy that outfit, what happens? They put them on, they feel good about themselves in the moment, right? That day. They go outside, what happens? They run those shoes down to a pulp. I tell you a perfect prime example. I have a 5-year-old, brought him a fresh pair of white Dookies. Looking good in the Dookies too. Those who don't know what Dookies are, Air Force Ones. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We call them Dookies, okay? Put them on, went outside, did his thing in them, came back an hour later, they were the black kind, okay? So that's what I mean. Like, they don't care about that stuff at all, you know? They're going to mess it up. They're going to spill juice on the outfit. They're going to stain the outfit. The outfit is probably ruined. You're going to try to wash it, put it in the dryer. It's going to shrink. Nobody cares about it. I say all that to say that. Nobody cares about it but us, right? And at the end of the day, what's going to happen to the shoes, being that they're growing so fast? What's going to happen to the clothes, being that they're growing up so fast? They simply get thrown away, right? They simply get thrown away. So I think we need to stop putting so much time and energy in buying expensive items for our children. Now, don't get me wrong. You can do that. That's absolutely fine. We want our children to look good. They're a direct representation of us, right? But that shouldn't be all that we do. Now, let's switch it over to time. Let's talk about time. We talked about gifts. Nobody cares. Time. Here's the breakdown for me as it relates to time. I'm talking about spending quality time with our children. When you spend quality time with your children, you get to understand who they are as a person, right? And if you're really doing it right and you're actually in tune when you're with your child, not just having them with you just to say that you have them with you, you begin to understand their insecurities or their struggles or their weaknesses or also their strengths, right? And now that you know these things, you can either start to build up their strengths, right? As well as build up their weaknesses. So say, for example, your child may be socially awkward. They don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to interact with, children of their age, right? You can help them start to begin to interact with children their age. Help them stop being such an introvert, more of an extrovert, right? Hanging out with people, saying hi, introducing themselves when they meet someone new. These are all things that, you begin to sense once you actually hang out with your child, right? And not only are you learning your child, but they're also learning you when you spend time with them. And what does that mean? You're developing a blueprint for them of how to be when they get older. So for the young males, you're giving them how to walk, how to talk, how to handle themselves in different situations, right? How to have swag. Maybe even if you're a single man, you can teach them how to talk to girls, be polite, still have chivalry, right? That's a lost art. A lot of women talk about that because we're not teaching our sons that in terms of holding doors or pulling out chairs. Chivalry's not dead, just nobody's doing it. You know, just to be honest with you. And with our young ladies, you know, if you're doing it right, you're showing them what you expect to them to bring to the house as it relates to their counterpart or a male that they want to date or a man that they want to be with. Now, it's a gift and a curse with that, because even if you're doing it wrong in terms of drinking and smoking, partying, cussing people out, trying to fight, always being in the mischief, that's the same. Don't be surprised if that's the same man that your child bring home, your daughter. That's the same exact thing, right? So we have to understand that spending quality time with our children is helping them in so many different aspects of life. I talked in a previous video in terms of, you know, you see the adolescents out here, the 20 years old, all the way up to like 25. They're taking people baseline. They have no respect for elders. They're cussing out teachers at school. They're just a product of their environment. They learned that from somewhere, right? And in terms of order, discipline, and structure, fathers, I'm always going to put that on us. That's not the woman's job to give them that order, structure, and discipline. That's our job, right? So I want us to stop like praising ourselves for buying gifts, right? And then we also know this: if you go to court and you're talking about child support, trying to get it dropped, and you get to telling the judge how much money you spent on your child, what is that judge going to say back to you? Those were just gifts, right? So that's even how society is looking at it. You're just giving them a gift, right? Meaning you should not expect anything in return, even if it's seeing your own seed. So those are just gifts. So I want us to get out of the habit of, you know, bragging about what we buying our children, right? And how much money we're spending on clothing and shoes and PlayStation 5s. And that's cool. Like I said, they're a direct representation of us. We want them to look good, right? But it's more about spending that time. One of the things I like to do with my sons is specifically, right, is just taking them to get a haircut. It's the small things. But the drive over there, we talking, right? Whether he has an upcoming tournament coming up, we're talking about what he's going to do in the game, what he needs to work on in the game. And then when we get in the barbershop, he sees me interact with another man, right? We laughing and joking. It's all positive vibes. He sees how to operate in that fashion, in a barbershop fashion, as opposed to his mom taking him to the barbershop and, you know, like that. It's just weird, right? But we have to spend that time, fathers. That's definitely important. And also another thing with spending time with them, it gives them an opportunity to put the pieces together. Like, you got to imagine, like, when children are born, right? And this is going to sound so just simple because it is, right? But I'm going to make it a little bit more complex. They are a blank slate. They don't know anything. So whatever we're instilling in them, that's how they're going to be when they grow up. If we don't have them as a father, to instill certain values, right, certain morals into them, then they're just going to look for outward influence, whether it be the TV, whether it be the latest rapper, whether it be a basketball player, whatever the case may be. But I'm not sure about you all, you fathers out there, but for me, I want my son to be like me. I don't want my son mimicking nobody else. Now, I'm older now, so I don't still get down with the basketball, so that's okay if he watches Ja Morant or whatever the case may be. I named him because that's my son's favorite player. So that's cool with me. But in terms of like how he handles himself, how he handles his business, right? How dedicated he is, how sincere he is. I want him to get those things from me, right? And it's the same thing with our daughters, spending that quality time with them, even in taking them out just to get their nails done, right? And so I don't want my daughter to be one of those ones where a guy feels like he can buy her love in terms of taking her to get her nails done, to buy her some flowers. My daddy already did that, so you're going to have to come better with that, right? I know how to sit down at the table and enjoy a meal with my father or with a person of the opposite sex, right? And again, I'm speaking specifically to fathers, so ladies, this has nothing to do with you. Obviously, she needs to know how to interact with other women or females as well. But specifically talking to the father and keeping on topic, time versus gifts, fathers, we gonna do better. We still out here, we doing our thing. But again, I get it with the gifts. I like to buy my kids things as well. But that cannot be all that we do. All right? So we got to spend that time, that good quality time. We have to be out there supporting them. We have to be, you know, allowing them to see us in different situations. Even when I go to the bank, I allow them to see bank transactions, just how I handle myself in public. Even if I get into a challenging conversation with someone else, I allow them to see how I handle that conversation, right? I always put thought before emotions, and they know that. My kids are just trained to work in that type of fashion, so they never get overly emotional about anything. And some may say, man, you teaching those kids how to be robots. No, I'm just teaching them how to control their emotions. I'd rather teach them that than society teach them that. Or they go out there and they can't control their emotions, and then, God forbid, we have another one of those incidents where, my kid gets shot down because they couldn't control themselves, right? So again, time versus gifts. And I got a solution for you fathers. It's pretty simple. Spend some time with your children. It's not all the way about the gifts. It's not always about the gifts. Spend some time with your kids, right? Even if you set aside just an hour a day. It doesn't seem like a lot, but it makes a monumental impact on them growing up. They're younger now, 5 to 10 or 5 to 12. That's a very impressionable age. What that means is that the things that you do with them at that age, they're going to remember. It's everlasting, whether you're doing good or bad. They'll always bring up that time when they're older, right? I remember when my dad did this or this, that. And depending on if you're doing it wrong, they're going to remember that too. So fathers, I want us to be more conscientious, right? Let's spend some time with our children. We got the 4th of July coming up. Go pick up your kids. Go spend some time with them. Pop some fireworks with them. Have some fun. Remember, fathers, we're doing better out here. We out here. We focus. We're standing up. Black Father Syndrome.